Well, hello. This is Rachel. I got hamsters, and today I'm going to be doing a little, I can't quite call it a review, but just chat about this new hamster cage from Omlet because I do think it's kind of it marks a big change in the hamster industry, hamster product industry, and I'm really excited to see a company like Omlet be making this change. So how did I know about this? Omlet didn't send me anything free, although that would be really fun and exciting. I don't think they know who I am, but I do subscribe to their emails, or maybe I was getting advertisement on Instagram. I honestly don't know, but somehow I was seeing things that's like, oh, we're coming out with a new hamster cage soon, and there was a lot of like, it's coming soon, and I even entered in their drawing to see like, oh, maybe could I try it out, but I didn't win. Spoiler, surprise. So if you don't know this brand, they're out of the UK, and what they used to look like, let's see here. So I Googled this here. It's like this kind of like cabinet looking thing. So they were touted, and I remember when I first got Steven, my first hamster, in July of 2020, when there weren't a lot of cages on the market that are appropriate for hamsters. I mean, there's basically maybe almost nothing. I mean, I could go through it, but almost nothing that you could buy that was like ready to go for hamsters. Night Angel hadn't come out with their cages yet. The only thing they had, the KT Super Habitat, and it's like about 450 square inches ish. And then they had the Preview 528, which you cannot use with robos, or I wouldn't recommend it because the bar spacing is a little wide. So I was looking for something that I could use with Steven that wasn't quite so garish and like kind of looked attractive because, I lived in an apartment and had a small space, and I saw this and I thought, wow, that's really cute. And then I learned more about hamsters, and I realized like this is actually not a very great design for a lot of reasons. First off, it's small. Second, there's this vertical tube, which really makes no sense for hamsters. They are not great climbers, or some of them Syrians can be okay climbers. Some dwarf hamsters are okay, but they're really not like climbing animals. So this is a strange way to get them from bottom to top. And the wheel is small. I mean, there are a lot of reasons this isn't great, but in other ways, this is really cool. It's like, looks like furniture. It's made for hamsters, and it has this cool little storage area. So it's really very attractive. And I wish that it was an option that was good for hamsters, because I thought this would be awesome. I would love to use this if it made sense. So fast forward 4.5 years, Omlet has finally redone their line. They've listened to what people said, and the market has changed a lot. Now there's a lot of cages available from Night Angel and Bukastad and all these other brands on Amazon. So they reacted, and they came out with this brand new cage. So it's actually two things. It's a cage and Playpen, which is very cool. So let's check it out. So it's very cool. They have the cage, and then they have the playpen, and then they have all these little accessories. And I love that most of the accessories are pretty hamster appropriate, I would say. Does it say how big this is? D. Yeah, so it's so the wheel that they're advertising, a 10.6 inch wheel. Granted, it's the only size they offer, but I think that's great. They're showing a robo using it. A lot of people, they think small hamster, small wheel. No, this is a great wheel for a robo. I would say it's a little bit small for a Syrian. A lot of Syrians really should have a 12 or a 14 inch wheel. But honestly, it's a huge step up. It's a huge step up, and I'm very like delighted that if somebody came to this and they bought all of these things, this hamster would not live a horrible life, right? Like, this is definitely a step in the right direction. So let's look at the cage first. And I can kind of take you through the photos. So basically, you can buy just the cage alone. you can buy the stand that it comes on, and then you can buy this additional piece here that's the storage, where you could keep the playpen or, food or whatever other accessories that you want for your cage. I really love this. Had I been a new hamster owner, maybe in 2020 when I was shopping for a cage for Steven, this would have been great. I would have loved to have a place to put the cage, a stand like this. This is very nice. I think if you're a new hamster owner, having your hamster elevated is great practice, because if you have other animals in the house or children, it is really great to keep the hamster away from those other animals and or children. I have had children interact with my hamsters. It can be quite stressful. Once, I think, about 8 or 9, they start to be able to deal with it. Depends on the kid. But some of them are just too excited. They, it's I feel like I have to kind of keep bringing the energy back down, because they do things that are unsafe with the hamster. And so unless you're there to monitor them, I think it's a great idea to have your hamster elevated, particularly so really little kids, let's say a 2 or 3-year-old could not get in the hamster cage, right? And it's for their safety too. I mean, hamsters will bite if they feel threatened. So let's look at just this cage. So if you get just the cage and none of the other details, this is what you get. And all the cages come with a food bowl, a water bottle, a wheel, and 2 of these compostable hides. So just the cage alone is $199. And yes, that is not cheap. I won't say that is. But if you compare it to the Night Angel Bigger Worlds, size medium, $199, size small, $175. So very comparable in price. Obviously a very different product, but very comparable in price. And I will go over dimensions, but the square footage sits somewhere between the size small and the size medium. It's about 770 square inches. So it's not bad. It's a really pretty good start. So the price is comparable. And I think the main advantage of getting this option, if you're should I get this cage or the Bigger World, I would say if you want all the pieces, I would get this if you're going to get the whole set. If you're going to get the stand and the storage, it's a really nice thing that comes together. If you just want a cage, I think I'd probably go with the Night Angel option. I think it's a really good cage, but that's just me. So then if you add the stand on, that brings up the price $100. So you get these little legs here. Again, I talked about why I think that's important. And then if you add the storage, if you're going to get the stand, you might as well get the storage. The storage looks like it's only $40 more. So I think that's worth it to have a place to put food and whatever other additional accessories. And we all know those additional accessories add up fast, don't they? So there's that. And then if you want to get a playpen, and I think if you're going to get a playpen, get a large. Why get the small? Unless you don't have a lot of space. But I think for free roam time, it's so much better to have a large. And it's nice because then you can sit in there with your hamster and let them crawl over you and get to know you. That's it's something I don't talk about a lot. And, I go back and forth on it. It depends on my hamster and if they seem to want to interact with me. But that is a great way to tame your hamster. Get them used to you. I don't like to use the word tame. It sounds a little bit like there's someone who's superior to the other. I think it's more about creating an equitable and trust relationship with your hamster, where you trust them and they trust you, right? And so if you can get in a space with them and be calm and let them explore you and get used to your scent, it's a great way to do that. So the playpen, in addition, let's see, if we have no playpen, it's $339. If you add a large playpen, it's a $75 playpen. Not cheap, but it looks sturdy. If you went with the smaller playpen, it looks like it's about $60. Yeah, if you're going to get the playpen, go large. That's my recommendation. Then we can look at if you want any additional pieces. The starter kit, I'm just going to go back to none here and just do the stand or just the cage. If you get the starter kit, you get 1 ramp and a platform. And if you get the advanced kit, you get 2. So for just 1 ramp and a platform, about $30. 2 ramps on a platform, $60. So a little, that is I think a pretty penny to pay for some platforms and a ramp. And I also have mixed feelings about them because, you know, you really don't want your hamsters up that high. I would say probably the highest, let's say you filled this with bedding, maybe then the platform would be right about where the bars start. And then you can put additional hides and stuff up there. But I would not recommend, if you're using this with like rats or mice, maybe that does make sense. And I'm not a rat or mouse person, so I can't really talk to if this is an appropriate cage for rats or mice. But that kind of setup seems to be something that I see with rats and mice. For hamsters, they're not aerial acrobats. They're ground dwellers, so they're going to be down here. So while we're looking at this cage, I just want to talk about what I like about it. So I said, you know, one of the main things I like about it is it's coming all together. It's a great option if you're just buying a cage for the first time and you want like a one-stop solution. It has everything you need from the outset. You don't have to now go find a wheel and find all these things. Like, it comes with a wheel, comes with water, comes with food, comes with some hides. You know, I have to say, that's not bad. The things that I don't, well, sorry, I'll finish with the things I do like about it. It does feel like the amount of, I want to say burrowing space is pretty good here. So it's at least half the cage. I would say more than half the cage here is burrowing space. I would say, we can look at dimensions. I would say it's probably about 10 inches, which isn't bad, right? I mean, I think that there's something to be said for the advantage of a cage that is all solid wall, because you can go as high as you want with bedding or have 12 inches on one side and 6 inches on the other. You're obviously limited in your cage setup design in a situation like this, but it's not horrible. It's really not bad. The thing that I do think is worrisome is, after the recent information that I read about from Hamster Info Ireland about hamsters getting their legs or limbs caught in barred cages, I am a little more skeptical of if I can say that I would recommend a cage. Yeah. There's advantages to cages. Definitely there's advantages. Airflow, is a major one. But yeah, I still feel sort of undecided. I mean, I've definitely used cages with my hamsters, never had an issue, but it doesn't mean that it means that it's a safe and good option. So, I don't think I've heard of a lot of people having that issue, but yeah, again, like, it could happen. I can see how it could happen easily. And hamsters, being prey animals, if they get their foot caught in there, they will, if you're not around to help them, they will probably chew their foot off or do whatever they can to get free, which they could pretty badly break their foot. I'm sort of mixed on my feeling in that. And if I would truly say I recommend this cage, I don't know that I do, but at least I feel that it's moving in the right direction. What I would love to see from Omlet, it would be cool if this was an all, and maybe if Omlet is listening, what would be great is if this is an all acrylic cage. And then you could, open from the top or from the side. And what's nice about acrylic and plastic is it's very lightweight and easy to wash, easy to maneuver. So if they just replace this barred section with acrylic, I think that would be great. It'd be cool if they also gave it a little bit extra room or had maybe a few sizes. That would be great. Yeah, I mean, it's a good start, but those would be the things that I would probably change. So let's look at dimensions really quick. Dimensions. Okay. So like I said, the dimensions on this are comparable to the Night Angel Bigger World, somewhere between a small and a medium. Personally, I think a Night Angel Bigger World size small is too small. You basically get more space with a 200 quart bin. So if you're going to invest in a nice cage, I mean, for $25 more, you can get the medium. So I don't see, to me, it's like, if you're going to spend $175, just spend $200 and get the medium. In this case, it's pretty close. So here I hate that they did this in feet and inches. I don't know why. That's so annoying. But 12 inches, 24, 34, 35 inches wide. Compare that to the Night Angel here. So it's in between these two sizes. This one is 39, this one's 30. So 34, did I say 30, 35 inches? And then here, the depth is 1 foot 10 inches, so 24 inches deep, or 22 inches deep. Let's see how this compares. This one is only 15 inches deep, and this one is 19 inches deep. So an advantage this cage has, it is quite deep, more deep than the Night Angel Bigger Worlds, either small or medium. So if we were to calculate that, so what did I say? 24, 34, 35 inches times 22. So 770. It's not bad. I think, I would prefer, honestly, now that I've had hamsters, it's tough. I just feel like, if you're going to invest in a cage, like it's one thing if they're in a bin cage, and I think this is pretty comparable to a bin cage size, a 200 quart bin cage, and I think a 200 quart bin cage is pretty good. But part of the advantage of a bin cage is it's lightweight, it's cheap. I can stack them when I'm not using them. If I'm going to invest in a cage and pay $100, $200 for it, I suppose I do want a little more space. I just want to compare this with the Proly 40 inch, and I can tell you Proly hamster cage, because this is one of the ones that I have recently purchased. Let's look at this one. And I know I've talked about it on my website. Okay, so this is the one that I purchased. So 20 by 40. I guess maybe it's not really that much bigger. 800. Well, maybe that's okay. I mean, I do have to say 20 inches high. How high is this cage? See. Okay. Yeah, 19 inches. I mean, maybe that's not so bad. And this is a great example of sometimes you can look at these measurements and compare and contrast. And really, I feel like until I have a cage and I work with it and I set it up, do I have an opportunity to understand this is the advantage, this is what I don't like about it. Especially when you're doing a cage setup, trying to work with your multi-chamber hide and getting everything in there. I think until I try this out, it's hard for me to have solid opinions, but at least I can say from a square footage, it's not bad, or a square inch, it's not bad. Yeah. So, the other cool thing about this is they do have all these accessories, like I started to say at the beginning. So you can buy the wheel with the stand. It does come with a wheel that attaches to the cage, but I don't know that it comes with a stand. So you can get a separate one for playpen use or whatever. They also have a sand bath on legs. I wish that this came with a starter pack. I do feel like, I guess for Syrians, a sand bath isn't a requirement. For a dwarf hamster, it really is. So I do think it's nice that they have this. It's really cool that it comes on stilts. So they're acknowledging that you really need to be putting all your things on stilts and that there should be that amount of bedding underneath. So that is cool. I love that. These compostable hides are cool with the multi-opening. That's neat. Cool idea. Glass food bowl. That's very cute. Tunnels, everybody has controversial opinions about tunnels. I do have to say these tunnels are bigger than the KT ones. So KT, I believe it's 1 3/4 in the smallest part and maybe 2 to 2 1/4 in the largest part. So this one is a 1/4 inch bigger. I think that it's probably okay with a dwarf hamster. I would not use these with a Syrian. That is too small and you risk your Syrian getting stuck. The rule of thumb I usually use with most of my tunnels is I'm okay with them with robos, but just not my dwarves. I do have some clear tunnels that are a little bigger. I think about the same size of this that I feel big enough for either hamster. My hamsters have clearance when they move in them and can turn around without issue. So that is one thing you just want to be careful about, because hamsters have died in tunnels when the tunnel is too small and they get stuck. So something to think about if you're a Syrian hamster owner and you want to buy this cage. And it looks like you can just buy all these things separately if you don't want to get the starter pack kind of situation. So that's about it. So they did have this 20% off discount for a while. for the first like week that it came out. It ended on September 12th. So unfortunately I missed it, and I'm putting this out after it's too late, but 10% off your first order. So if you do order this and you get the whole kit, it's like $500. You could save $50. It's pretty good. So, I mean, the 20% off was better. It was about $100. I was thinking about buying it actually just to give it a try, but because I'm feeling sort of iffy on cages, and I felt like, well, right now I don't really have the extra space in my room right now. I'm trying to figure out if I can, I'm trying to look for like some sort of IKEA table so I can put 2 bins, like one underneath the table, one on top, and then that way I could get one more hamster in here. But right now, pretty much all my hamsters are on the floor and all the space is taken. So I have one empty bin that I'm going to adopt a hamster soon, but I was kind of thinking like, could I take in another hamster? It depends on me doing some rearranging. So I didn't buy this because I don't have the space in my office right now, but once I get that figured out, I might give it a test run and just see, because I think that it's worthwhile talking about and at least acknowledging that this might be an appropriate option for some people, and or not, honestly. It's hard for me to have a strong opinion while I'm just looking at it, but I think it's important to talk about. And on the whole, like I said at the beginning, I feel so excited that this is where we're at now, that hamsters are in larger cages, that this is, I have mixed feelings about children interacting with hamsters. This is an older child. That's nice. So I think we're moving in the right direction, slowly but surely we're moving in the right direction. So if any of you out there have this cage, maybe you had the old Omlet cage, or maybe you have strong feelings about this cage, I would love to hear from you. Leave me a message below, or you can always email me at rachelgothamsters@gmail.com. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And maybe I'll try this out. If you think I should try it out, let me know. Or if you want me to try it out, if you're curious, then maybe I'll give it a go. If nobody's interested, then it's kind of silly. But yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Thank you.